Hello, today our success criteria is going to be to write the equation of a square root or cube root function with given transformations. So um, let's take a look. I'm going to start with a little review problem here where I give you a radical function or a square root function with certain transformations in it. At this point, I'm hoping you can identify what those transformations are. So I'm going to kind of go one by one. If you need a little review, you can follow along. If you want to pause the video, you can do it on your own and then check your answers as the video goes. So in this problem, I have kind of three different transformations. The first one is that 2 multiplier up front, and because it's on the outside, that's going to be a vertical dilation factor of 2. And because that value is greater than 1, we can conclude that that's definitely going to be a stretch. Okay. The 5 is subtracted on the inside. So remember, when we have operations on the inside, we always need to do the inverse. It will be a horizontal translation. And instead of, I know it's -5, but again, we do the inverse, so that would actually go to the right 5 units. And then lastly, the +6 at the end would be a vertical. Hang on a second. Let's see if I can get my stylus working. There we go. Okay. Is a vertical translation up 6 units. Okay. So my previous video was just given the equation or the function and you identifying what the transformations are. The purpose of this video is to do it backwards, right? So instead, I'm now going to give you a problem. For instance, number 1, I start with the parent square root function, and I want you to apply the transformations that I've given you, and then write the equation of what that would look like, right? So I give you f of x as the square root function, right? So we're going to start with the square root function, all right? And I want to write g of x with the given transformations. So the first one is a horizontal translation of left 2 units. So if you read through this problem, I want to apply a horizontal translation left 2. So on the inside, I'm just going to say x plus 2, right? So again, remember inverse. For all the horizontal transformations, we have to use inverse operations. So the next transformation is I want to do a vertical stretch by a factor of 3. Well, all vertical stretches are dilations, so that's going to be a multiplier on the outside of 3. And last but not least, I want to go down 1 unit. So at the very end, outside of the radical, we need to subtract 1. And that would be the function with the given transformations. Okay, so I have 4 of these. Feel free again to pause. You can kind of check your answers, see what you get, and then kind of play the video and you can check along with me. All right, so number 2, I have another square root function, right? G of x. So I like to write the name of my function first. Hang on, I'm having some stylus problems. Okay, so G of x equals, and I'm going to make a big square root. Now it says it's going to start, I have a reflection over the x-axis. Now, if I have a reflection over the x-axis, that's going to be a vertical reflection. That's going to have to be a negative on the outside. I have a horizontal stretch by a factor of 2. So again, that's a dilation. It's got to be a multiplier. It's horizontal, so it's got to be a multiplier on the inside. And remember, anything on the inside, we do the inverse. So the inverse of multiplication would be division, or in this case, I'm going to multiply by a fraction of 1/2 x, and then a vertical translation up 8. So then at the end, I would put a +8. You have to watch out for these horizontal dilations. Remember, we always do the reciprocal of a horizontal stretch or horizontal compression. That's the only thing we do a reciprocal for. Everything else is just inverse of addition, subtraction. All right, 2 more. For number 3 and 4, I'm actually going to be dealing with a cube root function, but we do everything the same. So it doesn't change how we do transformations here. So I'm going to have g of x is the only thing that you have to remember is to start with the index of 3. All right, so I have a cube root, and then I'm going to apply the same transformations that I did on the previous two problems. So I have a vertical compression factor of 0.2, so that's going to be a multiplier on the outside. So 0.2 times the cube root of, I have a reflection over the y-axis, which would be a horizontal reflection. So I'm going to put a negative on the inside. And then I have a vertical translation of up 3. So that would be my equation. All right. So I strongly encourage you just kind of do one step at a time, put one in there, and then, see how many transformations you have. Try to incorporate all of them as you go. But, obviously on a test or quiz or something, you would get points per transformation. Okay. So f of x. So we have another cube root function. See if I can get my stylus working a little better here. Okay. So I have g of x is the cube root of. Okay, now I have a vertical stretch by a factor of 5. That's my dilation on the outside. A reflection over the x-axis. Now, because it's over the x-axis, that would be a vertical reflection, so I'm going to make that a negative 5. A horizontal translation left 9, so I'm going to have an x plus 9 on the inside. And that would be the last problem with those transformations. So I hope this helped. You can see a few examples. I will put this on Edpuzzle for you guys to do, along with some questions. And then also there'll be a homework assignment posted on Google Classroom for you. I think it has 2, maybe 3 of these for you to do. And then you can call it a day. Have a good day, everybody.